Hey, Pat McCardle back for another episode of Shop Talk, where today we're focusing on our youth ATV lineup. So we got an Outlaw 70 and a Sportsman 110. We're going to give you a quick walk around and show you some of the features you're going to need to know for the kids. Stay tuned for more. All right, so the first machine we want to talk to you about today is this awesome Outlaw 70. This is really the intro to the Polaris youth ATV lineup, made for kids 6 years in age and older, and kind of sized appropriately to that size of individual. So we're going to take you guys through and show you a few highlights, kind of starting on the front and working our way back. So when you look at the front, you got a nice built-in little bumper. Obviously you can see somebody dinged into that one a little bit, which isn't, I guess, too surprising. We got some nice LED lights here that these are going to be on kind of as a daytime running light, so you can see that that engine's fired up and that machine is ready to move. But as we come back, one of the other cool electrical features that you see under this cap is the ability to plug in a trickle charger right here. So when you're not using this, you know, you can plug it into the wall, keep that battery tuned up. You know, these youth ATVs don't have the biggest batteries, so it's real convenient to know that that's there, and it's super easy to get at, so you can disconnect it before you go riding. As we come back, you know, obviously we got a key here in the middle. That's really just turning the thing on and off. We've got an on-off switch here on the left side of the handlebars along with a horn. So, you know, if you want to be able to make some noise, you can obviously toot that one along. Brake lever on the left side. You do have the ability to lock that brake, much like a full-size ATV. And there's a separate brake pedal down on the right side. So you got left-hand brake, right foot brake, and then obviously right thumb throttle, just like any other ATV you're used to. One of the other super nice features on this 70 is at the top of the gas cap here is actually got a built-in gas gauge. So you know how much fuel's in it just when you walk by it. The other one that a lot of people don't pay enough attention to is this tether, and you can see it's got a little clip. So, you know, when you're going around, you can clip that on your belt buckle. Hopefully you got maybe slightly smaller one than I do that fits a little better. But if you come off that wheeler, you know, the nice part is it's going to pull that off, shut the engine down, and keep it in a safe spot in case, you know, your youngster has a little trouble. If they want to get it going, obviously still connected to them, they can reinstall it, and then they're going to be able to fire that engine back up. So super nice safety feature there. Coming back, obviously this whip flag is nice, allows you to see them. Obviously you want to, you know, be supervising and watching your kids while they're out riding, but it makes it really easy to see where they're at in case they're a little further away. But coming back on this rig, we've also got a single swing arm in the back, so you get a little bit of suspension travel. And one nice thing to know on these shocks, you can actually adjust the preloads. So the nice part there is if you got a little guy or gal as they're getting a little bigger, you can actually adjust that in and crank that preload up a bit. Both on the rear end, you got one, and one on each front corner. The other trick thing, if you look under this seat, there's actually a built-in toolkit that's hiding underneath this panel. So you simply slide it out and you got easy access to that toolkit. We'll get back to why you need to know that after a while when we start to do some riding. But with that, let's move on to the 110. All right, so the next machine we got as you move up the lineup is the 110. Here we've got the Sportsman, but we also have an Outlaw bodywork if you want that sporty look. And these are really made for kids 10 years and old and up. So 70, think 6 years and old, 6 and up. The 110s are 10 and up. So keep that in mind as you're looking to purchase. But again, starting at the front of this machine, we've got a nice set of built-in headlights so you know that they're on kind of a daytime running light. Obviously we've got, you know, similar suspension up front with 18-inch tires on this rig, so you got, you know, enough meat for the little ones to get around. Difference in braking as you look at the handlebars, you can see we've got a brake lever here on the left and the right. So no foot pedal on this one for the brakes. You've got one for the front and one for the rear. So kind of like a motorcycle, right side's the front, left side's the rear, and you can lock that one out for transport and storage. As we come up to the pod, you know, obviously key on and off, you do get a couple differences here. So it still has a check engine, a mill light, just like the other rig, but you get a low fuel light and a neutral and reverse. So key to know here, this one actually has a forward neutral reverse transmission. So this lever on the left side here, if you swing it out and forward, you got forward, put it in the middle as neutral, pull it all the way back for reverse. So really nice for, you know, those kids as they're learning how to ride and they maybe pull themselves into a corner, they can back out, try again, and make that turn. You know, on the left handlebar control, very similar features here. So we got pretty simply electric start button. We've got an on-off for the engine and a horn right here in the front, along with a rear brake lever that you have the ability to lock for storage and transport. And again, on this one, also a tether. You can see here, we've actually got a wrist version as well. So pretty easily, you can put that around your youth rider's wrist. And if they come off the vehicle, it'll pull that tether, so shut the engine down. And when they want to get back to riding, you know, dust them off, get them back on, make sure they're okay, plug that back in, you can start it up and keep going. So really nice feature again with that tether there. Now, as we go back, we've obviously got a flag on this one as well. You know, a rack in the back. You can see this seat is a little bit bigger. So as you're growing and getting a little bigger in size, you got a little more real estate to sit on this. And one thing that's important as we think about toolkits, just like we showed you on the other one, when you pop the seat off, you can see there's a toolkit hiding right here. The other thing to be aware of is that you've got a trickle charge port in the back on this one too. So again, you can hook your charger up right underneath the seat on this one, keep that little battery topped off when you're not using this machine. Again, coming to the back, we've got a single swing arm in the rear, so very similar suspension with a solid rear axle. This one does have about 50% more travel than the 70 did. And again, we still have the adjustable spring preload, so you get a lot of ability to move around on this. The other thing I forgot to mention, we do have a tail and brake light, so again, you can see if that machine's on when it's running during the day from afar. So overall, 110, probably one of my favorite machines. I know my kids rode the precursor to this, the 90, for many, many years. And huge upgrade on this one on both of these models when we went to EFI. You don't have to worry about those carburetors anymore. They start right up, super easy to operate, even when they've been sitting in the off season. Makes it really easy to get up and go and not have to worry about doing a ton of maintenance. All right, so now that we've taken you through some of the features on the Outlaw 70 Sportsman / Outlaw 110, I got to bring my good buddy Grady over here so we can actually demonstrate what this looks like, because clearly I'm way too big, aren't I, Grady?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Grady, here's what I got to know first and foremost. How old are you now?
I'm 11 years old.
You're 11. All right, jump on this Outlaw once because I want to see how big you are. Clearly you're over 6 years old.
Yeah.
But this isn't too bad, right? Maybe a little small for you? What do you think? Would this be fun to ride?
Yeah.
Yeah?
But maybe just it's a little small.
A little small. Well, do you want to go sit on that 110 and let me know if that one fits you better? All right, what are you thinking now? Is this one better?
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like it fits you pretty good. And since you're 11, you're over 10, you're kind of pretty good to go. All right, why don't you jump off this one more time for me and show me some of the stuff you got on today. And I think, is that your helmet sitting on the back?
Yep.
Yep. All right, what do you got there?
So I have a helmet and goggles,
All right, so you got head protection and eye protection.
a long sleeve shirt,
All right, I like that. Well, you got some stuff hiding in your pockets. What do you got there?
gloves,
Gloves, hand protection, I like it.
pants,
Pants, long pants,
and boots.
and over the ankle boots. Dude, you got everything we need. All right, now hop on this thing. And before you start this up, what else do we have to put on you? The tether, right?
Yeah, tether.
All right, well, let's open that up. Get that through your hand. Cinch it up a bit. We'll tighten that up. Does that feel pretty good?
This is pretty good.
Feels pretty good. All right, now your brake is locked. You got to turn your key on and hit that start button, and make sure you hit your off run switch to the on position over here as well. So key on, flip that one to on, hold down the brake, get your other hand on the handlebar here. Yep, there you go, man. All right, now what gear are you in on this one? I'll give you a hint, there's some lights on the dashboard. Which one's lit up?
Neutral.
Neutral, okay. Are you gonna rev it up in neutral, or are you gonna shift into gear first?
Shift into gear.
All right, you better shift to forward then. Boom, all right, forward gear, the lights are all off. All right, now I'm gonna stay near you and watch you so I can make sure you're not getting out of control. All right, have fun, buddy. Look at that, he's showing off the lean, going right, going left, keeping his eyes ahead of him where he's going, not looking off at parents like he's a hot rodder. Look at this guy's doing great. All right, Grady, why don't you shut that thing off? I want to give you a high five, dude. That was some great riding. You were leaning to the left on the left turns, leaning to the right on the right turns, watching where you were going. You weren't looking at random people like me. Nice job.
Thanks.
Would you like to go a little faster?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, I want you to pull this tether out and climb off this ATV because I need to get under that seat to get at the toolkit. So we're gonna reach down under the back, flip the lever here, pull that thing off. We're gonna get that seat out of the way for a second. See, we should have a screwdriver handle and a screwdriver tip. We're gonna put those two things together. And then we got two screws that we gotta pull off this handlebar block. So there's a screw and a jam nut right here. And you can see as you push on this throttle lever, it basically hits the tip of that screw. So the further out we adjust this screw, the further you can move that thumb lever and the faster Grady is gonna be able to go. So Grady, what do you think? Should we limit you at like 3/4 or should we let you go all the way?
All the way.
All the way. Well, I like the way you operate, man. So when this vehicle ships from the factory on the 110, it can only go about 15 miles an hour. And if we open that up to be kind of all the way, it should go just under 30. So this is gonna be a little bit quicker for you as you go. So we want to make sure we got this gasket in place before we put everything back together. We're going to line that up, get it right over the throttle block, and we're going to get these 2 screws started, tighten them back up. All right, what do you think? You ready to climb back on and try again?
Yep.
So we'll have you practice a little shift in here, see if you can get yourself back to neutral. There you go. Now, key on, right here. All right, you're in neutral, perfect. All right, now, as you shift into gear here, make sure you don't run into that 70 that's right in front of you. And it's gonna go a little faster, so ease into the throttle this time, all right? Yep. Don't go too gung-ho until you get used to it. All right, I'll keep an eye on you. Have some fun. Grady's taking it a little easy as he goes here, but he's not losing much time to open that throttle up and have some more fun. All right, so as Grady's operating now with that throttle opened up a little more, we can see that he's got the ability to go a little bit faster. We can hear that the engine's revved up a little higher, and he's just carrying more vehicle speed. So, right, we can see those lights on as he's coming at us. Obviously, we can see that whip flag, we can see him. But overall, he's doing a great job. You know, he's controlling that throttle. He's not just holding it wide open. He's using the brakes like he should. Grady, fantastic job, brother. I like the way you operate. All right, so we showed you guys how to adjust the speed limiting and throttle stop on the 110. Now I want to show you how that's done on the 70 because it's a little bit different. This machine comes from the factory at about 10 miles an hour and you can open it up to about 15. So again, you remove the seat, slide this cool little cover, get your toolkit out. And there's one wrench in here that's going to be real critical. You might need something else from your toolbox at home, but there's a wrench here that's got a 10 and a 12. The 12 is really the one we want on this. But on this case, you got to go down kind of in the front fender well and make sure you've got a cold engine on this one because you're going to be working right next to the exhaust pipe. But you guys can see this is actually the throttle cable right here. I'm going to reach up and actuate that so you can see it moving. But the further you drive this screw in, the further you're going to allow that throttle to open. So I already loosened up this jam nut. You can see that part spinning with my fingers. And then the next part would be just to adjust the overall hollow bolt in or out. So if we drive it in more, that'll allow us to go further open on the throttle, get a little more speed. So I'm going to do that kind of by hand here. Probably don't even honestly need the wrench. On a brand new unit like this, and when you get it where you want, spin that jam nut out, tighten that down, and now you can pull that throttle open a little more to get that top speed where you want it dialed in. Hey, that's it for this episode of Shop Talk. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you want to see next time.